Welcome, everyone, to the Commentary Podcast. I am your host, Pat Brennan. Today on the podcast, we are going to be watching Lady Bird. It was released in 2017, and it is written and directed by Greta Gerwig. The film stars Saoirse Ronan, Laurie Metcalf, Tracy Letts, Lucas Hedges, Timothy Chalamet, Beanie Feldstein, and Stephen McKinley Henderson. A California high school student plans to escape from her family and small town by going to college in New York, much to the disapproval of her wildly loving, deeply opinionated, and strong-willed mother. Joining me for this rewatch of Lady Bird is Saleah Blancaflor. I will be dropping all of her info in the episode description, so please give her a follow on all of her channels. And she's great. I'm going to be watching the Blu-ray copy I have of Lady Bird, but it is currently streaming on Canopy for free and on Tubi with ads. You can also rent it on Amazon for $3.59, on Apple for $4, and on Fandango at home for $4. I say we get things kicked off. We are going to be pressing play on Lady Bird, and I hope you do as well. In 3, 2, and 1. I think this might actually be my first A24 movie on the podcast.
Oh, really? Nice.
So, yeah, it should be good.
You've seen Lady Bird before, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
No, why should be like the first time I'm just doing this right now? I've never seen it.
Well, I just like to double check, but I figured.
Yeah, I always make a joke about that. Like, oh, I'm just starting it right now. Never seen the movie before. First movie I've ever seen. Let's just kick it off. Oh, sure, so we need you in another movie again.
I know. I've been seeing some of the stuff about her new movie that's coming out soon. I actually forget the name of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it was at Sundance, I think that's where it was. It's funny because like people think this is modeled off of like Greta Gerwig's life, but she's like, I was the exact opposite of Saoirse Ronan's character. I was like so straight laced, was never rebellious.
Yeah. I remember that because I remember like a lot of people were saying that like whenever the first time it came off, and then she was just like, yeah, no, like aside from being from Sacramento, it's
like... Yeah, and then I think just the her mom is also the same name as Laurie Metcalf's character. That's the only thing that's like really the Sacramento thing, and then the mom name. Everything else is kind of like made up.
Yeah.
And like the acne on like Saoirse Ronan's face was like, it's obviously real, but the reason why she had it, I guess she did a play before this, and like all the amount of makeup that she would have on it, like for daily for the play, caused her to break out. So this was the next thing that she did.
Wow, that's funny. I didn't realize that. I mean, I guess it fits because she's playing a teen, and like teen, you know, whenever you're kind of in high school, you're going through like dealing with acne and all that. So I guess that kind of fit anyway.
Yeah. So she tried to like keep it as long as she could to make it look like every teenager like has acne, so it fits perfectly.
Yeah.
Our culture is.
It's funny. I think the opening of this movie might be like one of my favorite openings of a movie, just because I feel like it sets up Lady Bird and like her mom perfectly, and like what to expect with a relationship. I just love it. And then obviously the car, like her jumping on the car is so funny.
You get like everything you need out of that relationship right there, and you're like, okay, exactly. I get where we're going with this movie. Yeah. I get where we're going right now. Yeah, it's funny. I guess people in Texas thought that this was about like Lyndon Johnson's wife because her nickname was Lady Bird.
Interesting.
And this movie came out the same weekend that I think of Rob Reiner. I think he made a biopic of LBJ, and this came out the same weekend as that. So you had LBJ and Lady Bird, like,
It's so
and then Greta
funny.
Gerwig was like, I didn't put two and two together when we were releasing this in Texas. Like, oh, people probably would think this is actually about like Lady Bird Johnson, but no, it's not.
Yeah. That's funny. I actually realized I don't know if you saw Lady Bird when it first came out, like in theaters back in 2017. I think I was a little bit later to watch it. I think I didn't even watch it till like the end of that year, like early 2018. So I actually didn't know about all of that when it first came out,
Hmm.
but that's interesting. And I don't know why I
Yeah.
was so late to see it. I just remember when I saw it, it just quickly became one of my favorite movies. And I was already familiar with Greta Gerwig, like more of her acting and everything, and
Hmm.
just really loved, yeah, just fell in love with this movie.
Yeah, I saw this in 2017. I think in North Hollywood. I remember seeing it. It was the theater was packed too, so it's like everyone loved it. So I was like, that's definitely going to be an Oscar contender, and it was nominated for a lot of stuff. I don't think it won, but classic Hollywood Oscars. Don't worry, I will. I think they wanted to dye Saoirse Ronan her hair like fully black with like white like specks in it,
Mhm.
and she was just like, no, I will not be doing that. So like, I guess they just like chose on this red hair,
Yeah,
but
I don't think
she apparently like really fought back on it. Like she did not want
yeah,
her hair to be dark like that.
yeah. I think like the pink, kind of the lighter pink, ended up fitting the character anyway. I don't. I mean, it's funny because when I think of Lady Bird, I always just think of that poster, like that main poster where it's like the side of her face, and then like her hair pink. I just kind of feel like it became like I don't know, like a big character trait of her, the
Hmm.
character. So like at this point, I can't even imagine it being like any other color.
Yeah. And I feel like the new poster of the movie she's in is like the same poster. Like it's
Yeah,
just
exactly.
it's
That's what I
high
was
profile.
thinking when you had mentioned it. I was like, I remember seeing that poster because it's basically Ladybird but with like green hair and she's older.
Yeah.
It's like might as
Yeah.
well be like a Ladybird sequel or something.
Basically.
So, I also really just love like the other characters in this movie. Like obviously Ladybird's mom, but like
Hmm.
her brother's girlfriend, like everybody just I feel like all the supporting characters in this movie are just really great. Like
Yeah, I feel like all their chemistry, especially these two, their chemistry is perfect. And I always
yeah.
forget every single time that Catherine Newton's in this movie for like two scenes. I always forget that she's in
Yeah.
this. So at the beginning of the movie, there was that like Joan Didion quote. Um,
Yeah.
so Greta Gerwig, before like they started filming, gave every one of the actors like a specific Joan Didion quote. It's
Mhm.
like for them to just like have, but then she said, "Don't tell me how you're going to use this while you're acting.
Yeah.
Like I just want to see you do it." So she never gave them any direction on that quote. She just let them, whatever the quote was, she just let them become that part of the character.
That's so interesting. Yeah, when that Joan Didion quote, it's funny. Joan Didion is probably like one of my favorite writers, which is probably another reason why when I watch this movie, I'm like, oh, it's a Joan Didion quote. Like I know I'm gonna love this.
Yeah,
Um,
immediately
what?
5 out of 5
Yeah.
already.
So that's really interesting. I feel like that would have been something I would have loved if I like worked on that movie or something.
Hmm. I love the contrast there because obviously, spoiler if you haven't seen this movie, whoever's listening to this, of her driving around of Sacramento, they're smiling. It's just basically like the end of when she's doing it. Lady Bird's doing it by herself. It's like the same, mirroring the same thing. because you always want to like leave your hometown, but then when like you actually get there and you're like, yeah, I kind of miss my hometown. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
oh, the great Tracy Letts, married to Carrie
I
Coon.
Yeah, I love Tracy Letts. I'm actually from, a fun fact about me, I'm actually from Oklahoma. So I feel like Tracy Letts is also from Oklahoma. So I'm always like,
Mhm.
every time there's like an actor or like a celebrity or someone from Oklahoma, I'm like, hey, they're from where I'm from. And so,
That's great. I remember Carrie Coon was on like I think it was like the Tonight Show or something, and she was talking about how she's like, yeah, my husband has like 10,000 like DVDs and Blu-rays. Like, I'm like, yes,
yeah,
Tracy Letts
that's,
knows. He knows what's up.
he isn't, yeah, he's an OT cinephile.
And people don't know he's a big time like playwright too.
Yeah, yeah. I have actually read a few, and that's another reason why I think I've been such a big fan of his. Like, I've read some of his plays and I've seen some of this stuff because some of them are set. Like, I know, um, was it Osage, August Osage County? I know it was um written by him. I think, or no, was not a. Trying to make sure I'm not like,
I think that might have been written by him. Yeah,
yeah, just trying to make sure I'm not like spreading wrong
false
information
information.
of like who wrote who. But that was one because that one was set in Oklahoma, and I remember that one. And then it
Hmm.
was made into the movie. But yeah, no, it's I think it's really good. He is a like multi-talented guy.
Hmm. And then he was in Little Women as the publisher, who's the head of the
Yeah,
publishing company.
yeah. Greta Gerwig was like, gotta get him in another movie, even if it's a small role. To me, it's still an important part of the movie, but
Hmm.
yeah.
Oh, and there's the head of Dunder Mifflin, David Wallace. Very subtle there, like what she just did with the lunch.
Yeah.
She basically like threw a half of it away, let her mom back. Rebellious of what she doesn't want to eat. Hideo Rush. I always think of like the first movie I ever really saw her in was The Giver, I think. And I just always think of The Giver when I see her.
Yeah. Yeah. No, there's always like an actor or just like someone that's in a movie where I'm always like, oh yeah, I've seen them in that thing. And sometimes I forget, but then you see them everywhere.
Hmm. This is the Catherine Newton's. I think she appears here. Like you can't eat those. Yeah. Yeah, there she is.
There she is.
Looks like she's like corn. She's
Aw,
like
her glasses.
cornrows too. Looks like she kind of has like cornrows too. It's funny.
That's so funny. And her glasses. I love Catherine Newton. I actually just watched Abigail like pretty
Oh yeah, she's
recently.
great.
Yeah. I just like love how she's in all these like weird little movies.
Her American accent's pretty good.
Yeah.
I think she said that the most difficult words are pronounced in the American language is like perfect. I think she like can't say it without the accent slipping.
It's so interesting. Yeah, no, I feel like she does a really good job in whatever she does in American accent.
Lucas Hedges. I feel like he hasn't been in anything in a while.
I was literally just about to say that. I was like, where's he been? Like I every time I've seen him in something, I love him in it. So I feel like due for another movie from
I think he was at the Oscars for like 3 years in a row, and then he just like disappeared.
yeah.
And like I guess during like before they started filming, Beanie Feldstein and Saoirse Ronan like painted their own nails, but when they showed up on set, they painted them the same color. So they were just like, wow, that was perfect. Like, we don't need any no notes. You guys are best
Yeah,
friends. Like,
that's so funny. No, their chemistry in this is so good. Just like that friendship dynamic. Even the tension that obviously we'll see later on, but it just I feel like it's kind of like the
mm-hmm.
perfect like high school friendship dynamic that they captured.
Mm-hmm. Come here often. It's a perfect like character like trait right there. Like, she didn't have any like nervousness to go up to him just to start talking to him.
Yeah.
Everyone else would be like, I can't talk to him. You know, dressed like an Irish Catholic boy, shirt tucked in. He's dressed like my grandfather right now. Like, that's what my grandfather wears like daily.
Yeah.
She's so good in this, Laurie Metcalf. And he teaches at NYU. Actually, he teaches like acting classes.
Oh, really? I don't think I realized
Mm-hmm.
that.
I just saw him in he's in recently Civil War.
Yeah, I also
Out
saw
for
Civil War. Yeah, I love him in everything that I've seen too. I feel like every time he appears, I'm like, yes.
You're like, all right. It's like that meme when they lean up in the chair when he shows up on the screen. You're like, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I know that was his whole thing, which I know we're kind of I'm like I'm just talking about a different movie, but because he was in Dune Part One, but I know that his scenes got cut from Dune Part Two or something. I
Mm-hmm.
remember reading, which I remember there were some people on Twitter who were like upset about that, which like I'm like, how can you cut his scenes out? He's always great and everything, but
Yeah. I think Tim Blake Nelson was also in Dune Part Two, and his scenes were cut. And he
yeah,
was
I
like, I
remember
mean,
reading
he was like, I don't care. He's like, I don't care. Like, that was awesome.
that.
So that he even got to be
Yeah,
part of that.
I don't know. Maybe one of these days we'll get like a deleted scenes or something.
Mm-hmm. She's so good at like writing like that type of dialogue of like someone who's like a popular girl,
Yeah.
but is just like that's everything she just said is so ridiculous. You're just like
Yeah.
they don't even respond to it. They're like, all right, I gotta go. And not the puka shell necklace. I used to have one of those.
Oh, gosh. I didn't even, that's so funny. I didn't even notice that.
And she even like lights like Ladybird's family compared to all the other like rich families. She lights them completely
Mhm.
different. Like, she makes you like when she goes to, I think, Odea Rush's house, like it's all very blue in there.
Yeah.
And then when you're in even this classroom, it's very blue in here. But when you're
Mhm.
in her like Ladybird's house, it's very like very much warmer, very much more homey. Because even though
Yeah.
it's like this is the traditional like family dynamic as opposed to these like she doesn't connect with these rich people. It was school too. Like, it's all very blue in here. She's like she doesn't care about school.
Yeah. Yeah. And even the house, which I know we find out is Lucas Hedges' grandma's house later on. Like their
Mm-hmm.
whole house is just blue. And so yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's definitely something I noticed too whenever I first watched it. Like it seemed to be like more of yeah, that kind of like bluer, almost brighter like color when it kind of showed some of
Mm-hmm.
the more richer families that she was like hanging out with and trying to assimilate with for a little bit. And then yeah, her house just felt a little bit more kind of yeah,
Mm-hmm.
at home.
Very subtle, but works. Did you have to do this? in Oklahoma? Your homecoming dressed up as like cowboys and
Surprisingly, no, actually, which is funny. I don't know if we ever did. I don't, there was something I like missed out on, but we definitely had dances. I feel like dances were obviously like a big part of like high school stuff, but we surprisingly never did any like cowboy or like very, I guess, southern themed
like
things.
themed, yeah, themed.
Yeah. Well, I
Yeah, I
guess
grew
our
up outside
proms.
Philly,
Oh yeah. Did you ever have to do?
so
Because like
like,
yeah. I was just gonna quickly say that like we always had to do like themed stuff. Like people would vote on it, but we never did like a cowboy thing. I think we had like a rave theme one year, like a masquerade. So it was just like it was like random stuff that I guess people wanted to
hmm
do. But never a cowboy thing. I actually feel like that would have been fun. I actually liked like you know. I guess like the college I went to Oklahoma State, which we were very heavy on like the cowboy theme. But
hmm
yeah, when I was in high school, we never did any of the like cowboy southern theme stuff.
Yeah, I don't think we ever really had any themes. It was just like homecoming dance and then like winter formal dance. Like, yeah, we just wear the
Yeah,
same like shirt and tie, but
it's funny.
yeah, nothing really themed. Like maybe like a prom after party theme, like classic,
Yeah.
just like casino night or something like cool, like very original.
Huh, that's interesting. For some reason, I guess like when I was younger, I guess I always thought every single high school, just everywhere had a theme, but I guess maybe it was just specific to like, well, I mean, I know like some other friends that had like schools that had themes, but maybe it wasn't everywhere. I don't know.
hmm
That's interesting. Maybe it was
We,
really big in the South. I don't know.
we could have. I could just be blocking it out. I don't know.
No, it's okay.
Honestly.
It's a long time ago. Sometimes I forget like how old I was when I was in high school. So
I know. First kiss. Mhm.
one thing
Yeah,
I'll
see how the
also
color
say,
kind of changed
yeah,
into like when she came in.
yeah, absolutely. And then it's interesting because I was actually just going to mention like her parents are obviously talking about like bills and like money and I don't know. I think it's really interesting how I think another thing this movie kind of captures is like Lady Bird when you're kind of like younger, you don't really realize that like oh your parents are kind of like like they're going through like their own struggles because like I guess everything in your world kind of feels like it's the most important thing. But I like how Greta kind of includes those like subtleties like throughout. Like even when her mom's at the grocery store earlier being like, oh, is this how much it is with your employee discount? Like, to keep
hmm
see that her mom is also trying to like, her mom also has like her own problems and it's just kind of like subtly thrown in there at least at the beginning throughout.
hmm Yeah, it's like Lady Bird's like she's like aware, obviously, but she just
Yeah.
blocks it out. Like it's not real. Like that's not real life. Like
Yeah.
essentially. Yeah, I think the original script she had was like 350 pages long. So
Oh
she must have
yeah.
just like threw up words into into like a
Yeah.
script. Like I think it's equivalency of like it'd be like a 6 hour long movie. Which I guess you could make it like a mini series, but
Yeah. That's what I was thinking too. I was like, I wouldn't mind watching like a Lady Bird series or
mhm.
show.
But it helps with the I think the pacing is great in this movie because she like the way
Mhm.
she edits it, she does like really fast cuts, like especially scenes are really short,
Yeah.
especially these cuts back and forth because she wanted to convey like when you're growing up, you don't realize like how quickly this time goes by, especially like
Yeah.
your senior year. Like it
Exactly.
goes by like super quick. So like little cuts like that cuts right back to them. Like their
Yeah.
relationship's so fast. Like high school relationships, like what the odds of you marrying your like a high school girlfriend boyfriend are probably not very high. So like
Yeah. Exactly.
so yeah, that's why she wanted it to be like super quick. So I think a 6 hour long or a mini series, I think she'd probably be like, no, that's just too much.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely see that. I also love that.
That's our star. They've been dating for like a week.
Yeah.
You can touch my boobs. And obviously, when you rewatch this again, you're like, oh, like that. Like you can touch my boobs when we kiss, and you're like, oh wait. And then you realize like there's a reason why he's not doing that.
Yeah, exactly.
Claude. No. Like right there, like it cuts to it's normal not to touch a penis. And then like she just
Yeah.
immediately changes the subject, being like
She's
she's
like,
just
oh,
hinting
yeah.
what's coming, hinting what's coming. Like yeah, she's easily one of the best like actors working.
I know. She's definitely one of my favorites for sure.
She's what, 30? I think she just turned 30 or 31. She's 5 Oscar nominations already. Like
Yeah.
that's talent. Thrift Town.
Thrift Town. I love the Thrift Town scenes are like some of my favorite between
Mm.
her mom.
I don't know. It's just so because like she's obviously Greta Gerwig's married to Noah Baumbach, but
Yeah.
because when she wrote the script, Noah read it and he was like, "Well, do you want me to direct this?" And like for a long, because this does feel like a Noah Baumbach movie, like in a
It
way.
does. Yeah. No, there are
Um,
definitely aspects of it that I feel like also could have been something that he would
and
direct.
at first I think she said she was like, "No," and then she was like, "Well, let me think about it," and then she was like, "Yeah, no, I'm doing it." He's like, "Okay." Because I mean, she'd been co-writing a lot of his movies for like a long time. I don't
Yeah.
think people realize that. It's not like she just like
Yeah.
up and wrote Lady Bird and directed it immediately. It's like she's been doing this for a while. Like clearly knows how to direct. And your movie last year made a highest grossing movie last year made $1 billion. So
Yeah.
she knows what she's doing. I actually think Little Women is her best film.
It's definitely top one. I think Lady Bird might still be my favorite out of seeing everything, but Little Women is definitely a top one. It's hard for me
Mm-hmm.
to choose though. I feel like I always like change my mind. Like after all the Barbie mania last year, which obviously I was like, I made Barbie my whole personality. I'm not the only one, but I remember thinking after I saw it, I was like, this is the best Greta movie. But then I'd be like, but I still love Lady Bird, but I also really love Little Women. I feel like I change my mind every time after I watch it again because I actually rewatched Little Women before I watched Barbie
Mm-hmm.
last year, and I watched Lady Bird at least like once or twice a year. This counts as one of my rewatches. But yeah, it always changed my mind after like I watch it. I'll be like, this is my favorite one, and then yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I agree. I think all of her movies are great. But Little Women is such a I do love that
Yeah.
one.
I think the coming of age genre too is like one of my favorite genres. Like I could watch those types of movies all day.
Mhm. Same.
It's funny the guy who plays her teacher. Um, I've seen him a couple of times, like in Hollywood, like around.
Oh, really?
I
That's
don't know if I
funny.
should really tell this story, but I don't know if he's ever gonna hear. He's probably never gonna hear this. But I saw him like really drunk. I saw him really drunk once after he was on the show Limitless,
Mhm.
and it got canceled that day. And then we like went out. It was like a Friday night, and like we went out to a bar, and he was there, and he was gone. And I was like, oh, he's probably just letting off some steam. He just got
Yeah.
fired,
That makes
essentially.
sense. That makes sense. I don't judge him for that. How
Yeah. He's been in a lot of stuff though. Like he's always been working. I feel like he's been working for like
Yeah, I
20
feel like I've seen
years.
him in a lot of things. I remember, I think I feel like I saw him in something recently, but I don't remember what it was. But I remember he was also on that show Greek, which I didn't watch too much.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I feel like I also saw him in something, but I don't know. I'll probably find him on later, or I'll just Google it later. But oh yeah, there's a scene where go to
Yeah, and I love
the
how
blue
she like
house. Yeah,
purposely makes the house blue too. Like so you
yeah, no,
know.
exactly. Yeah,
Gotta have the Ronald Reagan poster. That's how you know they're rich. She's even like looks just like as her hairstyle is like Nancy Reagan too.
yeah, no, exactly.
Like she does such a good job of like making her stand out in that like house. Like so, everything's
Mhm.
so blue. He even has a blue shirt on. Like
Yeah.
yeah, like the more I watch this, the more I realize like how fast like the cuts and pacing are of
Yeah.
it. There he is.
Oh, we're about to get the.
There's Timmy. Beanie Feldstein wearing a beanie. Whoa. That's too meta. Can't.
Oh,
He's
okay,
so
there's
good
too
at
many shots.
he's so good at playing like such like a dick in this.
I know. It's so funny. It's obviously you're like, he's like later on obviously you like start doing it, but he's so great in it. I just
And
like love him.
just like this brooding look, like, ugh, I hate the world.
Yeah.
I've had this exact scene happen to me so many times in high school. Like
I'm pretty sure I have
either
too.
being a little too drunk or
Rowdy or
from a
something.
party coming down, and my mom will come down the stairs and or everyone just gets quiet, like
Yeah,
being like, "So how was the party?" Like,
exactly.
clearly knows what you're doing. It's a clothes in black and milds too. Jeez, the most high school things.
I also really love this interaction between Lady Bird and Shelley. Because I think I mentioned
Hmm.
earlier, like I just love the dynamic between like Lady Bird and all the supporting characters, and I just love this like little interaction here, the porch.
Hmm.
You also kind of learn a little bit about Shelley too, because up until earlier, you're like, well, she's just Miguel's girlfriend, but
Hmm.
she like talks a little bit like without even seeing like so much. You kind of learn that like, well, Lady Bird's mom like really helped her out and everything. So, uh,
And she barely looks at Ladybird there too. So it's like when she's like actually being serious, like she's not like puts down a wall, like she's not going to make direct eye contact with you though
mhm.
until she basically is like does that little look like you're all right, Ladybird, basically like you're all right, like
Yeah,
your mom's good, trust me, essentially.
yeah.
Tracy Letts being like, this is the worst play I've ever seen in my life. Like,
He's like, you should have had me write the play for the movie.
because this is the like the famous meme, like they just didn't understand it. Which
Yeah,
actually, this play, well, I forget what it's called. It's called like "Merrily We Go Along," I think is what it's called.
yeah.
Um, at the time, like it came out in the 50s.
Mhm.
It like bombed and was only on Broadway for 2 weeks, but then like it was one of those like reimagined, like wait, like Stephen Sondheim was like that was a masterpiece. So it's like that's why
Yeah,
she threw in the line like they just didn't understand it. Like at the time, like the
yeah,
audience they just didn't understand it. Like it's
yeah,
too ahead of its time. Yeah, it's like the famous like when everyone hates a movie that I love, they just didn't understand.
yeah. Yeah, which is funny because like I know that I know Richard like just kind of like talking about like their movies quickly, but like merely if you roll along, I know they're made like Richard Linklater's made into a movie. Isn't he shooting it for like 20 years or something? Um,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Yeah, I think they just filmed the first scene. I think Paul Mescal's in it, and they just filmed the
Yeah.
first scene recently.
And isn't Beanie also in it? Or like,
I
I feel
think
like,
so.
which is funny, it's just kind of that like connection. She's like, well, she already got her a preview of it in this movie, so
Mm-hmm.
Lady Bird.
Uh-oh. And he switched to handheld here too, because it's going to be a lot more like,
Yeah.
uh-oh. Oh no. Cuts to Dave Matthews.
Yeah.
And this song is about like sex too, which is even funnier.
Yeah, yeah.
I love how her friend's crying too.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. It's definitely that was definitely like a good
uh,
friends.
mhm.
I feel like I've definitely had moments where like I cried with my best friend and she cried with me or like vice versa. So you always gotta find the friends that will cry along with you when you're going through something heartbreaking.
Mhm. While listening to Dave Matthews in 2007.
Exactly.
This is literally my mom. Like when we would get the stocking stuffers like that, like
Oh,
she'd be like, it's cool. She would explain what it was like when I was young. Like
yeah.
it's cool. So like you put on this. Like now me, it's just opening movies. Like thanks. And then everyone else being like, "What is this? I've never heard of this movie before." And you're like, "You just don't understand
Yeah.
it. It's fine." I love their like relationship.
I know.
If I were like, because Tracy Letts is such a good actor too. Like if I was directing him, I'd be like, I got no notes for you, man. Like you're
Yeah,
good.
right? Yeah, I feel like I wouldn't either.
No notes. That was great. Especially with like this scene, I'd probably be like, let's just do it again. Nothing. Just do it again. Like so I can get a couple more takes. No notes. Good. You guys are good. Fincher would have made Shrissa's film like 20 of her running into that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like yeah, like I said, the more I watch it, like I just realize like how fast things move and
Yeah.
how
No,
quick scenes
definitely.
are, how quick cuts are. Like Timmy, but I love like that like interaction. Like
Oh yeah, this is
the
definitely
first
one of my
time that
favorites.
the first time like he spoke to her, he was correcting her.
I
Like as in
know.
like that's all you need. Like this guy's such a like a dick. Like I could already tell this guy's a dick.
Yeah. And that's like one of my favorite lines too. He's just like, that's weird. You shake hands.
Yeah, that's very chicken. That reminds me of one of the I don't know if you saw the movie that came out last year, Totally Killer. Like I think it was on
I did.
Amazon.
I did see that. Yeah.
Uh, there's like a handshake in that too, and Olivia Holt's character was like, "I'm sorry, I'm not going to shake your hand because I'm not 45 and a man."
Yeah.
Like, I was like, "That's great."
That's like the sister line of this.
Yeah, like, oh, we're shaking hands, okay? Because now, like post COVID, you're like, do I shake hands? Like hug? Like, do we just not say anything? Like,
Yeah.
stand.
Yeah, no, that's definitely how I always feel. It's like I never know if like I feel like I don't shake hands as much often now because of
Mhm.
COVID, but I'm still like a big hugger. I don't know. I mean, like I usually always hug like the people I'm close with, like friends, family, whatever. But I know not everybody's a hugger. Especially like obviously like
Mhm.
I'm in New York a lot, and I'm like I know sometimes people don't like it if you get too touchy with them. So it's always like
Yeah.
never know. But now, especially with COVID and everything, so I get what you mean. But
Mhm. To even like look, she has the blue ribbon too in her hair.
yeah,
And how you separate Beanie in this. Like, look at all of their costume design, even Ladybird's. But then you look at Beanie's; she has like the vest still on. So
Mhm.
like when she interacted, she goes like, "What? Like, I don't care." Like, but she responded to Ladybird. But then when Beanie feels like she asked a question, she just goes like, "What?" Like,
Yeah.
she's like, "Oh, never mind, sorry." Like yeah, great. She's really good at coverage.
Yeah.
Gerwig. I mean, she's become like really good friends with Spielberg, so like she'll send him like first cuts. Like imagine, especially
Yeah.
for like little. She sent him like the Little Women first cut because I know she was gonna shoot that on digital, and he was just like,
Mhm.
"Why would you shoot a movie set during this time period on digital?" And he was like, "Come here," and he like, had her smell a film canister, and that's she's like, "He's like, you need to shoot this on film." And then it's like I could have the balls to be like, "Hey, Steven, can you look at the first cut of my movie and tell me what's wrong with
I know,
it?"
right? Oh my gosh.
This guy's a big time character actor. A lot of stuff. He's on a lot of commercials too. I forget his name though. He was in a show that I used to really like called Jericho with Skeet Ulrich.
Mm. Oh, I never. The funny thing is, I never watched that show, but I knew like what it was. But yeah, he definitely looks familiar. I feel like I've definitely
He's
seen
in
him.
a lot of commercials. He's actually even in at the end of Zodiac. I don't know if you have seen Zodiac, but at the
I have. It's
very
been a
end
while, but I
when
have. I've seen
they show like headshots of but the potential guy, like he's like he had to like pick one of them, and his headshot is one of the images. So
Oh,
I was like, oh,
really?
there's that
That's
guy
so
again. Yeah.
funny.
Yeah, it's like very simple character. Like you just have her get rid of the vest. So now she's like the popular girl. She doesn't wear the vest anymore. But yeah, Russia's so good at being like it just looks like she's like talking, but like there's just like nothing there.
Yeah.
He's a football coach. I feel like this is probably like all improv. Oh, and she said for this scene, like she said it was so hard to find in the Sacramento area, like an empty parking lot in like a office park because like, she said in that area, like these office parks like don't exist anymore. But at
Oh,
the time,
wow.
obviously, because like post, like I think this is pre-COVID, but
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
it's 2017,
It
so
was.
pre-COVID. But yeah, like a lot of these industrial like office parks are just like
Mhm.
not existent, or they've been torn down to become like residential
Yeah.
homes or apartments. So she said like it took them a long time to find this
Just like
parking
a
lot
lot.
essentially.
Oh my gosh,
And
that's
like
so
they could
interesting.
only use half of it because like in the
Yeah.
background you could see like a bunch of the cars like that were
Yeah.
parked like further down. Like, and you even have him like in this scene, like he's up above her still.
Yeah.
Because in his mind, he's like, I'm intellectually better than you. So
Yeah.
no, so
um,
yeah, he's like always correcting her.
I know. It's so
It's very like
cute.
subtle writing, but it's so good. playing that music loud in there, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like Lucas Hedges was in like so many like A24 movies, and then he just like wasn't
Yeah.
in movies anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, he's also a nepo baby, so
Right.
everybody's a nepo baby at this point.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, it can be scary. Yeah, like the original title. Speaking of like the mother, her mother, like the original title was Mothers and Daughters.
Yeah, I think I remember reading that, like how that was the original title, how
Maybe
it was
two on the
original.
nose. Two on the nose of what this movie's about.
Yeah, exactly. I think Lady Bird ended up being
Yeah.
I do really like this scene because
Mm-hmm.
even after everything, like because it's like like obviously Lady Bird sometimes acts like she's, you know,
Tough.
really like
Like,
tough,
yeah.
but she still has like a good heart at the end of the day. It's like obviously she sees that he's hurting and
Mm-hmm.
has to hide this. So yeah, I like this movie a lot.
And as soon as he like started to break down, there is when she exited the door to like actually get down on his level
Yeah,
and be like, okay,
yeah,
like yeah, just that being like, I don't really care. And then he's like, I'm clearly struggling. Like
yeah.
his character is so sad in this movie.
I know.
Like, like that's like the ultimate fear you have. Like I have watching this is like just like becoming like him in a way. Not that it's like bad, but it's like you're just like just so sad all the time,
Yeah.
and you like don't know why. Essentially, oh, these computers. Remember, he had to
I
dial
know.
into the
I know. Every time I see these, I'm like, oh my gosh, the memories of when I was
kids these days. Don't know you had to dial into the internet. That means
younger.
your phone wouldn't be on while you're on the internet.
Even just seeing like the TV too. It's like all the
Mm-hmm.
TVs now are like
A
flatter
little,
and bigger.
yeah.
Like
And those TVs weren't cheap either. Like, see, like you have her now. She's wearing blue.
yeah,
Like she wants to be that
yeah.
in the rich families. I love that. Oh, the one sad scene too later when him and his dad are both interviewing for the same job.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh God, stab me in the heart, Jesus Christ. Like,
Yeah.
that's me. I'm the dude that's just staring in the fridge at the party. What is in here? I'm 5 beers deep. What food you got in here?
He's like, I'm too cool for the
Yeah.
party. I'm just
Dude,
gonna
I
hang by the
smoke.
pool.
I love that. But you smoke. I smoke hand rolls. It's like, oh, this dude, man.
Yeah, and it's so funny watching it because I guess also when you're like in high school or when you're a teen, um, you just kind of like don't realize at the time. It's like maybe like this isn't, the person that you should be involved with. Like there's definitely a lot of red flags.
Mhm.
But then you're like, but he's so cute, or like every
Yeah,
crush on him.
exactly.
But it's like
It's like both things. It's like even if guys like your friends will be like, dude, red flags. You're like, nah, man, it's okay. Like she's cool. Like he's cool though. And then you look back on it, you're like, wow, like I would like you would fall for guys like this. Like you'd be like,
yeah.
Jesus. Like after that whole conversation, like he kind of like talk down to her, but then making out because
Yeah.
she just wants to make out. It's the tanning bed.
So funny. Just another indicator of like how rich that they are at the house.
Mhm. Yeah, a freaking tanning bed, Jesus. Now her like toenails are blue towels.
Owl, yeah.
It's like so on the nose. It's like I love it though. I love when things are like so on the nose.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. Like little stuff, little dialogue like that. Like, do you really need to use the two towels? Because like we're gonna have to wash both of them now.
Yeah.
Like that's gonna cost money. Like, I mean, these are every day. 95% of people have these conversations. You only need to use the two towels. Like I gotta wash both of those now. Like, oh, I'm dreading this conversation whenever I have children. Don't do
Yeah.
it until you're 35 years old. I love this little interaction. Like this, like it's a very serious conversation, but they're talking to each other through a mirror.
Yeah.
Like they're not directly looking at each other. They're looking at each other through another
Yeah, through a
surface.
mirror. Yeah.
Like they finally are actually having a serious conversation, but it's through an
Yeah.
object, essentially.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, after I watched this, and then when I saw Little Women, I was like, yeah, Greta Gerwig's got the juice. She knows how to
Yeah.
direct. She's got the juice.
Yes.
I'm curious to see what she does because I think they're about to start filming Chronicles of Narnia.
Chronicles. Yeah. Yeah, and I'd be interested. It's funny because I know a lot of people are always like, I don't know, they're like, oh, I don't want to see like another thing be rebooted. But I'm like, I feel like I have a lot of, obviously I'm biased because I just love Greta Gerwig, but I feel like she'll do something interesting with it, especially after Barbie.
Mhm.
Like, how can you not, you know, see
Clearly,
what
she
she
can
can
handle a
do?
budget. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm just kind of disappointed it's Netflix, but
Yeah. Yeah, I thought that too, but
and not in theaters. But I mean, I do live in LA, so like Netflix does technically own a couple theaters. Like I could drive to like
yeah.
downtown Hollywood, but I don't want to try to. Catherine Newton's so good at this. She's like whipped around so fast. Here's like an iconic line now. The
Oh yeah,
titular roll.
yeah, it's like I feel like it's become such a like a big meme on Twitter
Yeah.
too.
There's been a lot of memes like this line, um they didn't understand it, and then oh, it's my birthday. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
she made one bad decision. Like, I think you always have these types of scenes in any of these coming of age movies. Like
Yeah. And somehow
Like
it's always
Mean
like
Girl,
in a
Mean Girls
gym.
too.
Yeah, that's so funny. I was actually thinking of Mean Girls too because yeah, it's always like in a gym or like by bleachers or something.
Hmm.
Some like big grand like set.
Yeah. This is so mean. I feel like, oof. Honestly, if I was a teacher in that room, I probably wouldn't like.
Oh yeah,
Jesus.
no, same.
Like that was kind of funny, but I have to suspend you. Like, that's so good. Like, what are you doing on the computer? Like, he's
Yeah, it's like it's
just playing
solitary.
solitaire. Like nothing,
Yeah.
nothing. When the computers only had like 4 games, one of them was solitaire, then
Yeah,
Minecraft.
Minecraft.
Like,
Yeah, oh my gosh, Minecraft was always the one that I played just because it was like quick and easy. I would always like die really fast, but still like.
and then like the libraries and like or the computers in the library had like obviously internet connection, so we would always like go out to like the game sites and like be playing them. We'd always get in trouble. Like they would log, like they would print out the log of you like going to those sites. It's
Yeah.
like, why can't I play Monkey Ball? Like, why can't I play that? I'm tired of playing solitaire. I'm sure I've said this too. Being like, put a number down and I'll pay you back when I'm older. God. Like, it's so good to have the dad in this scene though.
Yeah,
Like not say anything because he's just impartial to both.
exactly. Awkward.
Oh no. Oh no. This is always like the secondhand embarrassment. Like, oh, I can't watch this.
Yeah, I
Like,
know. I would just die. I would just like not even. I've been like, you know what? I'm just gonna
mm,
disappear off the face of the earth for like a little bit until. And the fact that she even invited her to her real house, like I
I
don't know. I think
know.
I would just be so. I would just be like, I'm just gonna like disappear for a little bit and see if they notice.
Yeah.
But then I guess you have to see them at school. I must go to school. It's like,
Yeah.
well,
Eventually they'll be like, why did you lie to me?
yeah,
But it's actually good for the Adair Rush character. She's even like, so why would you say that? It's not she's supposed to be like, oh, she's just rich and dumb. But at this
yeah,
point, it's like she actually understands me and like, well, why would someone do that? It's like she's that dumb. Like
yeah.
I wouldn't say that I live somewhere and that I don't actually live there.
Yeah. Well, even with what she just says there, where she's like, I mean, if you're still Kyle's girlfriend, then whatever,
Yeah.
I'll still
I
see
guess I'll
you.
see
Like,
you around.
we're associated by like our little friend group.
Hmm. Are they just watching the news? Like, you're so dexterous.
What a word to use during a moment like this.
She even has like the blue bra on too.
Yeah.
So much blue. Are you done? Yeah. Oh, like that's so good because
Yeah.
everything that could go wrong is going
Right.
wrong right now. Oh, I didn't make that shirt. My friends got over me at Sea Rant.
Yeah, he always has the most like random lines in this movie.
Who would have thought Timmy would like blow up? It's the same year as Call Me
Yeah,
by Your Name.
yeah.
A lot of actors in this. Catherine Newton, him. Beanie Feldstein does her own stuff now.
Yeah.
Damn. He's good at just delivering such like all the lines just so like monotone.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like so
No
nonchalant.
emotion behind it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's just like, well, saying it.
Like that. Not in the last 2 years. He's like just a smug look. Oh, keep the list. Yeah, of course you keep a list. You're in high school. Like, who wouldn't keep a list? Oh, his writing's so good. The fuck? Yeah, he
Oh
brings
my
up the
gosh. And now he's
news.
like talking about, yeah, exactly. He starts talking about more.
Sure. Oh, it's so sad. Mm. Aw. It's interesting to have like um her when she left the house to like leave that scene in there of like
Yeah.
his father is also like dying.
Yeah.
It's just like compared to the son upstairs that doesn't even acknowledge anything.
Yeah, I know, right? I think yeah, it's also interesting because I think it kind of goes along with what I was saying with some of the like supporting characters that just kind of come in and out. Like you learn
Hmm.
little bits and pieces with them without even like Greta doesn't have to do like some whole scene with them
Yeah.
explaining anything. She just shows kind of like these subtle moments. Like here's like a little bit of like a look into their life or like what they've been through or
Hmm.
something without showing too much or explaining much.
Yeah, it's like even though he's also in a rich house, like his dad is also dying. People die, rich, poor.
Yeah.
Everybody has the same feelings.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of audiences now, especially like Letterbox, be like, "What was the point of that? I don't understand." It's like, that's the point. You don't need to understand. Like, it's just one moment.
Yeah.
Because she doesn't understand that either. That's the first time she's seen it. I mean, like, oh, damn, get into Colombia. Greta and that'd be difficult with Lady Bird's grades.
Yeah.
I mean, technically, oh, here's the scene, but I mean, it's never. I guess at the end, it's never acknowledged what school it is. But I think she gets an
Yeah.
NYU. That's even better
Yeah.
than she gets an NYU. So
Yeah. Well, because I assume since it was all the way like because she was like very obvious she was like on the another coast and like all the way on
hmm
the other coast in the city. Um, but yeah.
it's like this like same conversation like is happening for the past 25 years. Like older generations like, trying to find a job, like even an entry level job, they can probably can't even get.
Yeah.
Our generation can barely find jobs now.
I know.
Hmm. And then like when she said, "You're not gonna get a job with that stuff in your face," cuts to the job interview, all the stuff's off his face.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good dad. Same job. She is the
I love
aunt
it.
in Twister. That's what I always remember her from.
I haven't watched. I've watched Twister in a while. Actually, I've been wanting to rewatch it before Twisters comes out this summer.
Yeah, I think they're releasing the 4K of Twister, so right before, so I'll be picking that up. Yeah, she actually shot this on digital, but it looks like film because she originally wanted to shoot
Yeah.
it 16 millimeter, but obviously film is more expensive than digital, so she just put kind of like a grain over it to make it look
Yeah, look like
like
paper.
film, and then her and cinematographer like used old Panavision lenses that are like from like the I think 90s or maybe even the 80s to make it give it even more of like a older feel to them, like an older lens. I feel like
Yeah, I
Greta,
think that makes
if she wanted
sense.
to shoot anything on film now, she'd probably be
Probably
allowed to.
could.
They'd probably be like,
Yeah.
yeah, first directorial debut studio or anybody would be like, no, which sucks because film always looks better. But
Yeah.
unless you're Fincher, Fincher makes digital look good, and so does Michael Mann. So
Yeah.
I feel like this scene is essentially like the whole movie
Right. Yeah.
wrapped up in this scene.
Yeah. It is a toothpick is a classic.
hmm Oof. And like the parents' characters are great because it's like her mother is like treats her like this is how the world's going to treat you,
Yeah.
but obviously she wants to be treated like how her dad treats her, like because you're my mother, not the world. That would be me. You're not gonna get into the car with the guy who doesn't even come to the door and honks. Like is what I would say.
He's yeah, he's basically like the dad is basically like seeing a red flag. It's like he's just
Yeah.
honking at you, like he's not even coming to the door to
Yeah.
pick you up and meet us.
A guy who really likes you would come to the door. It's so good. It's such an awkward line. I guess I'll just shotgun. Like you're just
Yeah,
so nervous. Like, oh, that high is so. Oh, it's such
I
a good fake
know.
high.
Also, you could
Hi.
just like set like I mean, it's funny because they like set it up where you hear them talking. It's calling her weird behind her back,
Mhm.
but even just as soon as she gets into the car, like it's just so awkward. Like just the
Yeah.
energy.
And she's like just so much like brighter than they are. Like,
Yeah, with the pink hair, pink dress.
oh, here we go. Some more Dave. Fucking hate this song. Like this is the epitome of film Twitter. Oh, I fucking hate this.
Yeah.
Actually, I love it. I love it.
It's
Can we like not talk anymore? Essentially, it's like, oh,
I also love that because there's that line earlier whenever Lady Bird's mom picks her up and she's like, "Who's Jenna?" She's like, "Jenna's my friend." But then now it's like,
hmm
um, and now she's like, "Well, it's my actual friend." So
and she like really turned like the gloss, like the warmth up here. As soon as she got out of the car, like the lights in like the apartment building complex were like so like glossed and warm, entering the actual friendship that you should always have. Like, no,
that's also one of my
can't.
favorite lines in this movie when she says some people aren't built happy. Like
Hmm
just because it's one of those things where it's like, she is basically saying that she is probably depressed without saying that she is.
Like no one else asked her to come to the. No one asked her to go to prom. Like everybody's going.
Yeah.
I was like, I mean, if you really think about it, there's three characters like that, like her, her dad, and then the school the play teacher. All
Yeah.
that like some people just aren't born happy. Like they're just
Yeah.
always sad. Damn, Dave Matthews got some money for this movie.
Yeah, exactly.
The nun looking at them, being like, "Ah, oh, women."
Which is funny because, like, speaking of Dave Matthews, I just feel it's funny because I was never like a massive Dave Matthews fan, but because the music was always just like so prominent and playing, like, I feel like everyone I knew in high school always loved going to Dave Matthews concerts whenever he would like come through the city or something.
Hmm
So I guess it's realistic to like the high school experience. It's just
Yeah,
listening to a lot of Dave Matthews.
I feel like Dave Matthews is like big with that like college, like frat college and
Yeah,
like high school,
exactly.
but like, which is funny because he's like fifth, almost like 60 years old.
Yeah.
Like, I think he gets a bad rap. I don't feel like he's that like they're like bad Dave Matthews
No,
Band.
I mean, some of those songs I feel like they're just like either. I mean, I guess they would be considered kind of classic now because you just hear them, like you hear them and you know it's Dave
Yeah.
Matthews, and so
hmm
um, I have no problem with it. Even though I was never like a massive fan, I'm like, oh yeah, this is Dave Matthews. Like I'll listen to it when it was playing.
hmm I think she said that she wanted this to like be in that echelon of like coming of age movies. I think she compared it. She wanted to be like it with Boyhood and Moonlight. Like this would be a
Mhm.
pairing with them. I think this would be a great double feature with Edge of 17 with Haley Steinfeld.
Oh yeah, I love it. It's a great movie.
And I love Haley Steinfeld. She's like my number one like crush of
No, she's
Hollywood.
great.
Hollywood crush. Hollywood crush.
Yeah, no, she's great. I love her.
Yeah, I don't realize how much blue there is in this movie. She really makes the blue stand out.
Yeah, it like pops out.
Actually, I'm not gonna get a do this. You walked weird. Like she can never give her like a good. You walked
Yeah,
weird, a little weird. Like you can never give her that full. Oh fuck! I love that.
I
Oh
know.
fuck!
It's so funny.
It's not his fault. Like
Oh
oh
my
fuck!
gosh.
And that's such like a high school graduation thing too. Like when you go out to dinner like lunch after,
Mhm.
and there's like three other tables that are also high school graduation from your same high school.
Yeah.
Like, that's such a high school thing. 9/11 and less people apply.
Oh my gosh. It's always like hard to watch. I've definitely had moments when I was younger where my mom would just give me the silent treatment after I did something bad. And I'm like, it's almost
Hmm.
triggering to watch this. Because you're like,
Hmm.
if your mom is giving you the silent treatment, it's like, all right, she's really mad.
Yeah.
Like,
It's also like it's everything you've like wanted to say, but she's not responding now. It's almost like you're like
yeah.
it's like a dream like where you can't like what you're saying she's still not taking in.
Yeah.
My when I did my driver's test when I was like 16, the person that was doing it, I think was like having a heart attack because he like fell asleep and he was like really sweating. And he's
Mhm.
like, "You're good. You're good. Just pull over here. You passed." I was like, "I didn't even like do
I,
anything, but all right." Like,
yeah. It's
hope
funny.
you're all right, man.
I know. I wonder if anybody, I feel like anytime I've talked to, like you included now, like I feel like anytime I've talked to just like a friend or just someone talk about like when they took their driver's license test, like I feel like it's never like a normal experience. The first time I had to take my driver's license 3 times because like I think in Oklahoma it was like, I don't know if like states are different, but I remember I had to take mine a third time, which was the last time you could take it before you had to wait like I think a year or something. And I was like, I definitely gotta pass it. But the
Hmm.
very first time I took it, I'm pretty sure we almost got into a wreck because I like turned and almost like missed this like this giant truck. It ended up not being like that bad, but obviously we went
Hmm.
back and he was like, yeah, you failed. Like he literally
Yeah,
just like took me back immediately. Like we didn't even like do like half the
go
tests.
anywhere.
And but I had another friend that just like I don't remember they had like a crazy story with them, and I don't know, like does anyone ever have like a normal driver's test? It also reminds me of Clueless when she like is like driving and like hits all the cars.
Hmm. Oh, here we go. Oh, it's my birthday. Okay, happy birthday.
So funny. I love how she's just casually looking at it, like, all right, I'll look at it.
I think I even went and bought like like a pack of cigarettes. I didn't like smoke it, but it's like
Really,
cool. Like
just to be
I
like,
could buy
yeah.
these. Yeah, I'm so cool now. Because like the place like um that I would go to, it's called a Wawa. I don't know if you know what a Wawa is, but it's like basically a convenience store, but it's also like
Yeah.
a gas
Yeah,
station.
no, I know.
And
I live in Jersey, so I know a
oh
lot.
yeah,
Yeah.
and they used to have like they would rip off the date. So it's like if you're born before this date, you're of 18, and they would always rip it off. And I remember going in and be like, yes, I was born before this date. I can buy something that is 18 years old. And it's like, I'm not going to smoke these though. I
Yeah.
bought a pack of cigarettes.
I don't even remember if I did anything like that. I feel like I was too scared to buy cigarettes because I'm like, if my parents, like, even if because I wouldn't have smoked them, but I feel like if my
Yeah.
parents even found it, I was like too scared. I'd be like, I'm not buying anything too like risque like that, like at the time.
Just buy them and immediately throw them away.
Yeah, like just to say I did it, and I can't.
Oof, the silent car ride to the airport. Mm. Oh, this shower here.
I'm pretty sure I definitely cried the first time I watched this.
And just slowly watch her like break down, being
Yeah.
like, wait. But I love when she runs back in that she doesn't like see her.
Yeah.
Like I love that it's like a one thing where it's you're still always like it's still too late. Like to say what you really want to say.
Yeah.
It's damn good acting.
I know.
That's why like first time director, I'd be like, damn, they're all hitting it out of the park.
I know,
I'm
right?
not doing anything. Thank God they're all hitting out of the park here. This could have gone really bad. Yeah, who cares about the ticket?
Right. That guy, I just like was just like staring. It's like,
Yeah.
you're running in here.
Yeah, I just love that. Like, I love that she didn't see her though,
Yeah. No.
which is still good. It keeps that relationship like wanting more.
Yeah, exactly.
Off to New York.
Oh yeah, that per se building is right there. So it's like definitely, probably NYU. Very likely.
Hmm. Yeah, so I think for these scenes, like they used like different lenses to make it look more like crisp and cleaner because it's like it's New York, it's the other
It's
side of
New
the
York,
country
yeah.
now.
Yeah. You can definitely tell all the letters. I do also think her not seeing her at the airport makes like these scenes and even the like the very ending, which we'll see in a little bit,
Hmm.
like just that much more impactful.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that he like unfolded all of them, gave them to her. And you notice in like each, it either said "Dear Christine" or "Dear Lady Bird" for each
Yeah,
one.
like it went back. Yeah.
Because I feel like the Christine one was her actually talking to her daughter, and those would be shorter
Hmm.
because she couldn't get through it, and she would just stop writing it. The
Yeah.
Ladybird ones were a little longer. I would love to live in New York. I don't have any money, so I live in Los Angeles. It's a different vibe there. I feel like it's its own world, New York.
Yeah. Yeah. So don't go out as much as I used to, but I started working in New York when I was in my early 20s. So
Hmm.
definitely a lot of well, it's so much to do. So I love it around here.
A lot of these types of parties. Can't say Ladybird there.
Yeah.
I'd be like, what? Mm.
Which is funny because I feel like if maybe she was in Brooklyn, she might get away with saying something like Lady Bird and people just be like, okay.
Hmm.
But maybe Manhattan's a different vibe.
I love that cut to like when she pulled it down, it cut back to like them. Clearly,
Yeah.
I've been talking a lot throughout the whole night. Yeah, imagine if for this actor, he's probably just like a you have to kiss Saoirse Ronan.
Yeah.
It's probably the only thing he's ever done. Like, hey, I get to kiss Saoirse Ronan though.
This is also like I definitely had some moments in college where I was just too drunk. Where one of
A
my
little too
friends was
much.
like, "Yeah," and then you're just kind of like, "Well, nothing's wrong with you. You're just too drunk."
Mm. I feel like we've all had like one friend or like that was just too drunk. Like I need to go to the hospital. It's like, no, you're just too drunk, man. I'll keep it on. You just don't sleep on your back.
Yeah.
Like, because if you're gonna puke, you'll puke onto the ground. It could be worse. Could lose an eye.
Exactly. It's so funny. We don't know anything about that kid. We just know that. Yes. Oh, I love these scenes when she's just kind of like walking through different parts of New York.
Hmm. Just walking around New York Sunday morning. Damn, she almost get hit by a car right there. The car was moving.
Right. I just like don't even think of stuff.
Still goes to church though. It reminds her of home.
Both Catholics.
The last scene. And again, she doesn't like actually talk directly to her.
Mhm.
This is the scene I was talking about when she was like driving around,
Oh yeah.
same as her mother did in the beginning.
Yeah, yeah.
So Greta Gerwig said that when she ends this like scene right here, like she cuts when Lady Bird does like an exhale, because she said like after this conversation now she's starting a new life, and that's a completely different story. So that her story ends as soon as she takes this breath here.
Yeah.
I feel like I used to do this too, like driving around the hometown,
Yeah.
being like, I don't live here anymore. Even though I only live 45 minutes away now, but I don't live here anymore. Like, cause she finally said, I love you. Like right there, she takes that and it
Yeah.
cuts.
That
Because
is a
now she
great
said
ending.
that it's a completely different life now that she has. Kind of like a somber like music ending too. Like you're like, damn.
Yeah, no, but it's I feel like it fits though. It's funny because like obviously the beginning kind of starts out where it's like have this dynamic with I mean, it obviously ends with Lady Bird and her mom, right? And then in a way
Hmm.
it's there because it has that like split. It's like kind of going back and forth. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like it is kind of a perfect ending because it's like what is almost kind of I don't know. I guess it's almost like kind of uncertain starting like a new life. Like she's like, well, she's acknowledging her mom, but she's also like, I'm on my own now.
This podcast is hosted and edited by Pat Brennan. That's me, with intro and closing music by Patrick Baxter.